Hi. We just finished seeing the video again. After a determination is made that the person is or is not entitled to an attorney, after the determination is made as to what is the condition of letting this person go home, because that's what bail is about, letting someone go home. Keep in mind that this is 24 hours after the arrest takes place. A determination is made to let this person go home if the conditions are right. If the conditions are wrong, the person stays. When are the conditions wrong? When the person is a danger to the community. So if the judge determines this person, if I let him go, is going to commit another crime, then the person doesn't go home. If the judge says, okay, this person is not likely to be violent or commit another crime, then the judge needs to make a determination. He needs to answer the question, is this person likely to come back for trial? Or is they're just going to take off? If they're just going to take off, the judge is not going to let them go. So, but how can you determine if somebody is going to come? How can you determine if somebody's going to come back? Yes?
Like if their crime is just for a sentence for like 1 month or something?
Right. A light crime, people would be crazy to go and disappear, because once they arrest you, they can charge you with fleeing. So if the crime is not very severe, you're likely to come back. 2, the judge then needs to make a determination. Is this someone who has so much contact in this community? Their parents are here. Their job is here. Their kids are here. Their work is here. For them to take off would destroy their entire life, so it's not likely that they're going to leave. Then the judge will allow them to go. But in most cases, the judge will allow them to go if they post a bond. Okay? He sets the bail, which is an amount of money that a person has to put down to guarantee that they're going to come back. Now, what is that like? Whenever you've been in a hotel and you lease something that the hotel has, for example, you lease a jet ski or a sailboat, oftentimes the service says, leave your key. That key is guaranteed that you're going to come back. Sometimes they ask you for your license. The license is there, it's guaranteed that you're going to come back. You're not going to abandon it and therefore not take their property. Well, bail is exactly that. It's a guarantee, but instead of a license or a key, it's a guarantee of money that you put and you give to the clerk, and you get it back if you do all of the things that you have to. So that money is not abandoned. You get it back. Okay? But oftentimes people don't have the amount of money in their pockets. They don't have it in their bank accounts. This girl was being asked for $10,000 bail. She's 18, she's going to college, and she only makes $200 a week. How is she going to get it? Well, there are professionals out there called bail bondsmen. Bail bondsman, that's a fancy word for somebody that lends you money. And interestingly enough, like your dad, bail bondsmen usually are in the business of insurance. Because a bond really is an insurance policy. The bail bondsman charges a fee, puts the money down, and he is betting or gambling that the person is going to show up. If the person shows up, the fee, which is usually 10% of the bond, he keeps. That's his payment. For a $10,000 bond, he gets 10% of that as his payment to guarantee. No, this is the bail bondsman. Judge doesn't get any money other than what the city pays him or the state pays him. But the bail bondsman lends you money, and in exchange you pay him 10% of whatever the bond's going to be. In addition to that, the bail bondsman wants to make sure that if you take off, that they've got some property. So you have to guarantee, you have to pledge a home, or pledge a car, or pledge sufficient jewelry so the bail bondsman knows that you're not going to take off. They give you the money out front. If you take off, they keep the security, and then they send somebody like Dog the Bounty Hunter after you. A bounty hunter generally is a person that works for a bail bondsman, and their function is to arrest you, bring you back, so the bail bondsman gets his money back. Okay, that's what and I use Dog the Bounty Hunter because Dog the Bounty Hunter is a cable television show of a bounty hunter that does exactly this. So that's what takes place. And if everything works fine, this person gets to go home. Aaron Hernandez, as you saw in the arraignment, which is the next thing that we're going to talk about, isn't going home. Okay? He's not going home. He's been in jail since he was arrested. Joey, why do you think that Aaron Hernandez has been in jail since he was arrested?
Because he killed someone.
Well, he killed somebody, but the more important thing is he's a threat to society, not because he killed somebody, but because the judge determined that there was a likelihood that this guy could do it again.
That's the football.
That's the football guy.
Or flee.
Or flee, because he's not only the football guy, he's got a likelihood, because it's a violent crime and he's accused of killing somebody. But he also is a millionaire. I mean, he was a high draft choice from the University of Florida. He played for the world champion at that time, New England Patriots. So he has a lot of money. So if he wanted to flee, to take off, he could have. So in the case of Aaron Hernandez, he's staying in jail until his trial. But in that situation is the problem. Why? Because Aaron Hernandez is going to be in jail until there's a trial. Imagine if the Sixth Amendment did not guarantee you a speedy trial, and you were accused, like Aaron Hernandez, of killing someone, and you couldn't get out until your trial. And your trial didn't have to be fast because where you live didn't have a speedy trial requirement, so you had a trial 3-4 years down the road. And after your trial, your jury acquitted you. That means that they found you not guilty. You've been punished for 3 years in jail for a crime you didn't commit. Therein is the problem. That's why the Constitution requires that every individual that is arrested has a speedy trial, so that they're not in jail being punished perhaps for something that they didn't do because they can't get out. This young lady, even if she has all the jewelry that she says, maybe she doesn't. She was on drugs, so she may not have had the money to get out. She would have been in jail until her trial, if she had a trial. So the speedy trial right guarantees somebody that, yes, you may be in jail because we think you're a threat to society, but we're going to make it so fast that the trial is going to get here and we're going to determine whether you should stay in jail or not. So that you're going to be inconvenienced, but that your inconvenience is lessened. In some countries in the world, there's no speedy trial requirement. So you may be arrested today, 5 years down the line, you still haven't had a trial. So that's why our Constitution in the Sixth Amendment has a requirement for speedy trial. So once the initial appearance takes place, the next step that's determined at the initial appearance, let's go over it. Read your rights, determine whether you're entitled to an attorney, determine the conditions of your release. The last thing that's determined is the date of your arraignment. An arraignment is the first time where you are informed. You're arrested, you think, I'm arrested and this is the crime I'm going to be charged with, but the government can charge you. Once they have arrested you, they get all this information, they begin to plug it into their system, and they decide, well, apart from arrest, you resisted arrest, so we're going to charge you with that. You moved the person from here to there, that means you kidnapped somebody, and they can charge you with a whole bunch of things. At the first appearance, they set the date for your arraignment. At your arraignment is the first time where the government reveals to you and reads in open court what it is that you're charged with. That's what you were seeing in the arraignment of Aaron Hernandez. I don't know if you remember, a guy stood there and said, you've been charged with, and he read him the whole thing. And then after he read them the whole thing, the judge said, and how do you plead? And he said, not guilty. And he said, not guilty. So that's the first time where an individual hears what supposedly they did and can say to the court, I'm not guilty. Now keep in mind that not guilty really doesn't mean I didn't do it. It means prove it, exactly, Peter. It means prove it. So it says to the government, you have the burden, you have the requirement, you prove me guilty. Because the burden is upon the government to prove somebody guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what takes place at the arraignment. Stop it for a second, Peter.
Is